Thank you all for being here today. This is the final hearing we will hold this session on the implementation of the Veterans Appeals Improvement and Modernization Act of 2017, also called AMA. Let me start by thanking Acting Deputy Secretary Byrne for his being here today. Thank you for being here. As you know, the AMA requires the Secretary to certify in January of 2019 that the Department has the resources, personnel, and procedures and information technology to carry out the new appeals system while timely addressing both new and legacy appeals. The AMA also provides the Secretary with the authority to delay the effective date of the law if VA is not fully prepared to implement appeals reform. Since the Secretary is responsible for certifying that the Department is ready, I believe it's important for Congress and the veteran community to hear from senior leadership on the status of the implementation. I understand that Ms. Mason has been delegated the authority to oversee the implementation, but your presence here today, Mr. Byrne, demonstrates the Secretary's commitment to ensuring this program is implemented correctly. And thank you all for being here. Today I want to talk about the VA's progress updating its IT system, publishing final implementing regulations and forms, and completing training for employees, and appropriately allocating staff and resources, which all must be completed within the next 2 months. I was encouraged by the recent August and November updates to VA's comprehensive plan, which showed the steps VA is taking to effectively overhaul the current appeals process. However, I am uncertain that all the components needed for appeals reform will be completed on time. While we are all excited for appeals reform to roll out, it's also important for VA to understand that this committee does not wish for VA to push out the new appeal system in February if it's not truly ready. That's one lesson we've all learned from the Forever GI Bill implementation. One of my main concerns is whether VA's IT system will be fully functional by February of 2019. VA needs robust IT systems that are capable of handling appeals under the AMA. During the July appeals hearing, Undersecretary for Benefits Dr. Lawrence testified that about 100% of the IT functionality will be delivered by this month, and I would like to know if that timeline remains accurate. If VA's appeals IT will not be ready in time, I want to hear what the VA's contingency plan is. Turning to regulations, according to the November 2018 appeals report, VA said it planned to send OMB the final regulations for approval by November 13, 2018. I would also like to know whether this has taken place. Additionally, I'm looking forward to an update from VA about how it intends to effectively balance appeals under the new system and the legacy inventory. Right now, VA has almost 400,000 appeals pending. VA anticipated that the Rapid Appeals Modernization Program, or RAMP, which allows veterans who have pending appeals to transfer to the new system, would help reduce the backlog. However, RAMP has had only a 16% take rate from the legacy inventory. I'd like to hear today how long it will take VA and the board to decide all remaining legacy appeals, whether it would be 1, 5, or 10 years. Despite RAMP's low opt-in rate, I am curious about how the department has used the feedback it has received from RAMP to test assumptions and to make adjustments to the new appeal system accordingly. I want to make sure that VA is using RAMP to inform the new system and not as a means to disguise the true size of appeals backlog. I also would like to hear about the training provided to employees. My staff visited the Denver Regional Office in October, and the employees shared that VA guidance on the new system was confusing and that it needed additional training. They needed additional training to understand the new procedures. I'm hoping to have a productive discussion today to ensure that when the law is fully implemented, all veterans will receive correct and timely decisions. Again, I want to thank the witnesses for being here today to discuss this important matter. And just as an aside, I've spoken to several veterans who've opted into the RAMP program, and when they do, the results have been good. I'll have to say I've been encouraged by that, and if it's scalable, if we have the capacity to do it, and that's what we're here to hear from you all today, then I think it has a chance to be very successful. I can remember sitting right down there 10 years ago, and there were 1 million appeals claims backlog. So there is, even though it doesn't, 400,000 is a lot if you're one veteran out there whose appeal hadn't been looked at, it's 100% for you. There has been improvement and changes have been made. I'd now like to yield to Ranking Member Esty for her opening comments.